I was born back due in slavery. So it wasn't for me to fulfill my dreams of what a woman ought to be and to do. That's one of the holdbacks of slavery. But nothing can't stop you from wishing. You can't beat nobody down so low till you can rob them of their will. I didn't want to be used for a work ox and a brood sow, and I didn't want my daughter used that way neither. It sure wasn't my will for things to happen like they did. I even hated the way you was born. But all the same, I said, thank God I got another chance. I wanted to preach a great sermon about colored women sitting on high. But there wasn't no pulpit for me. Freedom found me with a baby daughter in my arms. So I said, I'll take a broom and cook pot and throw up a highway through the wilderness for her. She would expound what I felt. But somehow, she got lost off of the highway. And next thing I knowed, here you was in the world, Janie. So whilst I was tending you of nights, I said I'd save the text for you. I've been waiting a long time, Janie, but nothing I've been through ain't too much if you just take a stand on high ground like I dreamed.
Nanny.
Lay down your head, child. That's right. Now, that morning long ago, on the big plantation close to Savannah, a rider come in a gallop telling Moss Roberts' son had done been killed. Right then, he grabbed his gun and straddled his best horse and went off with the rest of the gray-headed men and young boys to drive the Yankees back into Tennessee. They was all cheering and crying and shouting for the men that were riding off. I couldn't see nothing, 'cause your mama wasn't but a week old, and I was flat on my back. But pretty soon, he let on he forgot something and run into my cabin and made me let down my hair for the last time. He sort of wrapped his hand in it, pulled my big toe like he always done, and was gone after the rest like lightning. I heard one last whoop. Then the big house got sober and silent. It was the cool of the evening when Mrs. come walking in my door. She throwed the door wide open and stood there looking at me out of her eyes and her face.
Nanny, I come to see that baby of yourn.
I tried not to feel the breeze off her face, but it got so cold in there that I was freezing to death under the kivers. So I couldn't move right away like I aimed to, but I knowed I had to make haste and do it.
You better get that kiver off of that young'un and that quick. Look like you don't know who is mistress on this plantation, madam. But I aims to show you.
By that time, I had done managed to unkiver my baby enough for her to see the head and face.
Nigger, what's your baby doing with gray eyes and yellow hair? How come that baby look white? Answer me, nigger. Are you deaf?
She began to slap my jaws every which way. I never felt the first ones because I was too busy getting the kiver back over my child. But them last lick burnt me like fire. I didn't cry, and I didn't do nothing else.
How comes your baby looks white?
She kept saying that and couldn't help herself. So I told her, I don't know nothing but what I'm told to do, 'cause I ain't nothing but a nigger and a slave. Instead of pacifying her, she got madder. But I reckon she was tired and wore out, 'cause she didn't hit me no more. She went to the foot of the bed and wiped her hands on her handkerchief.
I wouldn't dirty my hands on you. But first thing in the morning, the overseer will take you to the whipping post and tie you down on your knees and cut the hide off of your yellow back. 100 lashes with a rawhide on your bare back. I'll have you whipped till the blood run down to your heels. I mean to count the licks myself. And if it kills you, I'll stand the loss. Anyhow, as soon as that brat is a month old, I'm going to sell him off this place.
She flounced on off and let her wintertime with me. I knowed my body wasn't healed, but in the black dark, I wrapped my baby the best I know how and made it to the swamp by the river. I knowed the place was full of moccasins and other biting snakes, but I was more scared of what was behind me. I hide in there day and night and suckled the baby every time she started to cry for fear somebody might hear and I'd get found. The Lord seen to it that I wasn't taken. I don't see how come my milk didn't kill my child, with me so scared and worried all the time. The noise of the owls scared me. The limbs of them cypress trees took to crawling and moving round after dark, and 2-3 times I hear panthers prowling round. But nothing never hurt me, 'cause the Lord knowed how it was. Then, one night, I heard the big guns booming like thunder all night long. And the next morning, I could see a big ship at a distance and a great stirring round. So I wrapped Leafy, your mama, up in moss and fixed her good in a tree and picked my way on down to the landing. The men were all in blue. And I heard people say all of us slaves were free. So I got my baby and found a place I could stay. It was a long time after that before the big surrender at Richmond. And the big bell ring in Atlanta, and all the men in gray had to bury their swords in the ground. So then we knowed we were free. I wouldn't marry nobody, 'cause I didn't want nobody mistreating my baby. So I got in with some good white people and come down here in West Florida to work and make the sun shine on both sides of the street for Leafy. My madam helped me with her, just like she'd been doing with you. I was expecting to make a school teacher out of her. But one day she didn't come home at the usual time, and I waited and waited. But she never come all that night. I took a lantern and went round asking everybody, but nobody ain't seen her. The next morning, she come crawling in on her hands and knees. That school teacher, I put her in school. Lord, that school teacher had done hid her in the woods all night long, and he had done raped my baby and run on off just before day. She was only 17. And something like that to happen? Lord. After you was born, she took to drinking liquor and staying out nights. Couldn't get her to stay here. Lord knows where she is right now. She ain't dead, 'cause I know it by my feelings. But sometimes I wish she was at rest.
Nanny,
Janie, maybe it wasn't much, but I done the best I can by you. I raked and scraped and bought this little piece of land so you wouldn't have to stay in the white folks' yard and tuck your head before all the children at school.
I knows, Nanny.
That was all right when you was little. But when you got big enough to understand things, I wanted you to look upon yourself. I don't want your feathers always crumbled by folks throwing up things in your face. And I can't die easy thinking maybe the men folks, white or black, is making a spit cup out of you. Have some sympathy for me. Put me down easy, Janie. I'm a cracked plate.